Darren, it's a pleasure to talk to you. How are you?
I'm good. What about you?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Darren, firstly, people think that now you look like, beside being a St. Lucian, now you look like a Pakistani after getting the honorary citizenship.
Well, look, we always talk about our sports being bigger than what it is, and you heard the phrase, it's more than cricket. I think this is a perfect example of, what cricket could do for a nation, for the people in itself, and I'm honored to have been nominated or given this award. It's taken a lot of time to sink in. Every day I do some research and see the people who've gotten that award. It's a big honor. I come from a place of 140,000 people. They got over 200 million people here. So to be considered, much less would have been an honor to receive it. Well, I'm going to receive it in a few weeks' time, but to actually get it, it's a massive honor, and one that I'm thankful and appreciative of.
You are from St. Lucia, and you are the first cricketer from St. Lucia who represented West Indies at the international level. And you told me that there are only 140,000 people living in St. Lucia. So must be an honor for you and for your for your country, St. Lucia.
Yes, it is. I could remember back in 2004 when I made my one-day debut for the West Indies team. It was joy and celebrations for a long time. Because for years we support West Indies because we were West Indians, but to have a son of the soil representing the West Indies team, which is the cricket is the #1 sport in the Caribbean. So for St. Lucians to chair one of their own, that was something special, and I've always carried the nations on my back from then on. Try to inspire youngsters to see that no matter where you're from, you could achieve things. It doesn't have to be cricket, but whatever in life you set yourself to achieve, you could achieve it. And so far we've had 2 other guys, and we have a young West Indies under-19 captain who's also from St. Lucia.
You started your career as an office assistant in the Commerce Ministry. You remember that?
You know a lot about me. You've done your research. Yeah. Yes. Look, my story is one that I think that could inspire young people in St. Lucia across the world, because I came from the humblest beginnings. My mom had 3 kids before she was 21. And no job, nothing. And we all. Is 5 of us in a 1-bedroom house, So, but growing up, you didn't know it was hard. You just know you have what you have. Other kids might have what you want, but that's what you have. So, was raised in the right way. I credit who I am today because of my upbringing, especially from my mother's side. And my first job, I remember when I left school. I work with the ministry, but thankfully the boss loved cricket, so she would always give me time off. By the time it's 2 o'clock, she would say, Sam, you're not going to practice? Then I would leave and go in the Menu Philip Park and practice. But a lot of that's part of the process that have helped me to further develop my career. And in the end, this is the end product you see.
After playing for the West Indian team in 2002 Under-19 World Cup, you made your one-day debut after 2 years against Bangladesh, and you had to wait 3 years to become a Test cricketer. You made your debut in England 2007 at Old Trafford. You took 7 for 66, and you broke the record of Sir Alfred Valentine. Yeah? How do you want to go back to the memory?
I don't have to go back. It's right there. Yes, it was another great day for West Indians and St. Lucians especially. They were jumping because I remember that morning of that Test match. One of my idols, Michael Holding, you know, he was commentating and he said he went to bed with a nightmare.
I see.
And he was hoping that when he got to the ground, when he got up, the nightmare was over. And the nightmare was that I was playing in front of the other Darren Powell.
Okay.
So he couldn't believe I was playing Test cricket. But come Saturday afternoon, Mikey had to interview me just like you interviewed me, because I'd just broken a record on debut. And, you know, it shows that when something is for you, nothing could stop you from achieving it, you know, because there's always a successful story when you've put in the hard work. And I did, you know, and that debut at Old Trafford, I think it was the 9th of June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
June 2007.
It was something special for me, you know. That set my career on the right path.
वक्त हो गया प्रोग्राम में एक छोटे से ब्रेक का. हम बात कर रहे हैं पाकिस्तान के बड़ी मशहूर फ्रेंचाइज पेशावर ज़ल्मी के कप्तान डैरन सैमी से, जिनका ताल्लुक वेस्ट इंडीज से. ब्रेक के बाद जब वापस आएंगे मजीद गुफ्तगू के सिलसिले को आगे की तरफ. Mentioned 2016 after winning the 2016 World T20 in Kolkata, where Carlos Brathwaite just snatched the match from the English team. You delivered an emotional speech at the end. What was the reason of that?
We had to let the world know what we've been through. And I think all that had to happen, we had to go through that to get us closer together. Because I think when you have one common goal, one thing that is motivating, and in the end, you know, I was responsible to let the world know that against all the odds, in spite of everything they threw up at us, we were successful. And yeah, that cost me my job, but it's one I'm happy. I always say, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And I'm not about falling for anything. You know, I think, you know, your word is your bond, and you must have something you believe in and stand for.
You have proven yourself as a great leader. The leading the West Indies, you are the only captain who has won two T20 World Cup in 2012, 2016, and after that, you always look happy in the field. Darren doesn't show his emotions. You know, he doesn't get angry on the players. What is the reason of that?
I do get angry sometimes, but I think it comes with experience. Also, my personality. I think I'm more on the calmer side to life. And you know, when you have that peace inside you, you know, there's not much that really bothers you. And I enjoy what I do. I still have that passion. You know, like my brand is based on passion, power, and pleasure.
70s and 80s, West Indian cricket team was known as Black Storm. In 2000, you actually, we can say that in a transformation shape, you brought that team. So credit must be given to Darren being a leader and gelling the team together. Don't you think that people, they talk about it, that Darren is the man who revived the West Indian history? Because at that time, in 2004, after 2004's Champions Trophy, West Indies, after 8 years, won the World T20. So you must be taking credit of that. People are giving credit to you.
Well, look, I think we as a team, we work really well. You know, Coach Gibson, from Coach Gibson, and the other one was with Uncle Phil. I think what that team did, you know, we used to have conversations in the dressing room, you know, the senior players, especially guys like Bravo. We would hear the conversations about, okay, guys, this West Indies team dominated the 70s in Test cricket. We have an opportunity. We want to build our own legacy, which is in the 2020 format.
Yeah.
You know, let's show the world that this format is ours, and the mindset was there. You know, my job as a leader was to make sure everybody, you know, gel well together, and on the field make the right calls. Yeah. You know, and you know, a leader is just as good as his team as well, you know, and I think I had a really good team that enables me to go out there and do my work. Even sometimes it's hard, but we fight through, you know, and a leader always takes less than 30% share of the credit. So it's good to hear that, but at the end of the day, I think we had a good team.
I talked about the bowling, 7 for 66. Mikey was quite actually astonished when you did that.
Yeah.
But with the passage of time, you have left doing the bowling, and now you are concentrating. I remember you scored 20 balls, 50 against South Africa in 2010.
Yeah.
That was a stormy innings from Darren. So why did you leave bowling? You want to concentrate more on batting?
No, I had that conversation recently. You know, if you understand cricket and you understand the team dynamics and the men I was leading, you look at Russell, Pollard, Bravo. You look at the young guys that came through, Jason Holder, Carlos Brathwaite. Yeah. You know, especially in the T20 format. All these guys played under me for a long time. Mm-hmm. You know what? So when you have Narain, you have Rafi Rampal was there, Jerome Taylor, sometimes Fidel Edwards, and then you bring Russell, you bring Jason Holder, you bring Carlos Brathwaite. Yeah. And my job as a leader is also to help develop future players of the Caribbean. You know, and if you notice, before Badri came into the fold, I was always opening the bowling for the West Indies. So yes, my job as a leader, I had to find ways to make sure that everybody gets to perform and also develop the youngsters that we had. So I took a back seat where bowling was concerned, because we had so many. If required to do, then I do it. But it was not a selfish act on my part. You know, people would have other ideas, but that's how I see it. That's how I see it. I'm so happy to see Jason and Carlos and even Russell, all these guys, you know, taking the opportunity and further developing their career. But I think with the decisions I make or take on the field,